Hello everyone, I'm bringing you a video today looking at another element of British issue NBC kit. And what we're looking at here is a residual vapour detector. So this is a kit designed for basically testing for residual chemical agents in the air, and we're going to have a look at this in some detail. There's an instruction booklet, I suppose you could say, instruction cards included within the kit, so we'll have a look through the instructions and see exactly how this was supposed to be used. I believe these were around from the late 1960s. I've certainly seen them in use into the 1990s. I think the only photograph I've seen of one of these pouches being carried is from the 1990s, carried on a set of PLCE. So, as I say, it's certainly a fairly long-lived piece of kit. I don't believe these are still in use today. I think there's something a bit more modern in use now, but nevertheless an interesting little bit of Cold War NBC kit. So we're going to have a look at this in some detail now. So here we have it, the residual vapour detection kit. It comes in this canvas pouch, which is just made of a plain green canvas. You can see a belt loop at the back here, so it can be carried on the belt. It's a very simple pouch externally, but when it folds out, it's actually quite a neat design for carrying all the necessary chemicals and bits and pieces. So as you can see in here, we have 4 bottles down the centre here. We have a little pump it's a rubber bulb with a little plastic cap on it here, and we'll run through how these are used in just a minute, and a load of plastic testing tickets here carried in little plastic envelopes, and these can be easily replaced. They're just held in place basically with document tags, as you can see here, and the bottles and the caps for these are captive within the set, within the pouch. You can see they're held in place with a piece of nylon cord at each end, and the pump just sits within this canvas loop when it's not required. There's an envelope here, there's a section at the end here containing the instructions, and we'll run through these in some detail in just a minute or two. The chemicals here are for testing nerve agent, which is Na1 and Na2, which are used as part of the testing procedure for nerve agent, and then you have H1 and H2, which are used for testing for mustard agents, mustard gas basically. And there's a slightly different system, which is basically very similar but just slightly different for testing for each of these, because if H1 becomes discoloured just from the initial pumping of air through the test ticket, it shows you that there is mustard vapour, mustard gas present in enough concentration to just get H1 to react anyway without the addition of H2. But we'll get into that when we run through the instructions in a little bit more detail, which we will do now. You can see here the first sheet is actually an addendum page relating to use in freezing conditions, so we'll ignore that for the moment and have a look at the directions for use. And you can see the official nomenclature here for this as well, which is Detector Kit, Chemical Agent, Residual Vapour, number 1, Mark 1, Nerve and Mustard Agents. So as said, it will deal with nerve and mustard agents remaining in the air as residual vapours. And you can see there the NATO stock number as well. Ensure that gloves are clean and that the kit is not contaminated, which is of course very important, because otherwise you're going to get a reading from contamination potentially on the kit or the gloves themselves. Moving on to look at the instructions. So you've got the preparations for use initially, and that involves crushing the bottles from the kit. The capsules in each of them needs to be crushed to release the chemical for obviously conducting the testing. So you've got here instructions for unscrewing each of the bottles. Initially unscrew Na1, squeeze out 2 to 3 drops, and then screw back in. So these bottles all have a dropper cap, basically, or a dropper head formed as part of the bottle, just moulded in as part of the plastic there. And you can see these are empty. They don't have any agent left in them, any of the chemical testing agent left in them. And the caps are held captive in this plastic section in the centre here, which is held in place with these pieces of nylon cord, as you can see. So you would squeeze each of these to break the capsules inside, and then squeeze out 2 to 3 drops from each of them as required in the instructions here. In subsequent use, obviously it's important to check that the bottle is, if any bottles are empty, and also whether Na2 is no longer blue. And you can see a residual of the blue chemical in Na2 here. If I open this up, you can just see a residual of the blue inside there, obviously well dried up now, but a residual of the chemical in there. I'll just pop that back in. So continuing with the instructions, obviously you'd need to replace the entirety of this section here if the chemicals had been used up, or if Na2 was no longer blue. And then for procedure for testing is run through here. Unscrew the rubber bulb as shown by about 1 turn. So that's the rubber bulb here, which is essentially used as a pump. So you would unscrew this by 1 turn. So we've done that there. We flick back to the instructions for use here. Tear off one plastic envelope containing a detector tab. So you would tear off one of these envelopes from the sheets we have here. And then as you can see here, you would use the ticket, you'd slot it into this slot on the rubber bulb here. They are marked up. I'll just bring this up to the camera so you can see. It's just moulded into the plastic there, you can see. So they're marked up, so you insert them the correct way. You can see that in the instructions here. And then you would screw up the bulb, which would clamp that in position, as you can see there. We screw this right up. That would clamp the ticket in position with the black rubber piece there forming a seal against it. So once you've got that in position, to test for nerve agent, you would take chemical Na1 and using that drop ahead, you would apply 1 drop to the ticket, as you can see there, and then place the bottle back in the kit. You would sample the air by squeezing the bulb 30 times, which I'm not going to do 30 times, but you'd basically do that by squeezing the rubber bulb 30 times, which obviously would draw air through the test, through the ticket. You'd remove the ticket, and you may have some discoloration, but you'd then add 1 drop from bottle Na2, and that should appear blue. Replace the bottle, of course, and then you need to keep the ticket warm to ensure that the chemical reaction takes place, and it's suggested here that that's done by holding it under the armpit for 2 minutes, so that's what would have been done. And if the ticket turns white, ignoring any dirt from smoke or anything of that nature, or if the edge only remains blue, nerve agent is absent. So you can see an illustration of what you're looking for here. Initially it will be blue, as you can see there. If it then subsequently turns white, or you just end up with a bit of blue around the edge, you're okay. If after 2 minutes the centre of the ticket remains blue, nerve agent is present, and you can see again an illustration of that there. So that's the test for nerve agent. It's very similar to test for mustard, but it's slightly different, as mentioned before. Again, a fresh ticket must be used, and again it would be fitted into the bulb in the same way. Instead of the Na1 chemical, you'd add H1, which you can see here. So you'd add H1, a drop of H1 to the ticket, and then place the bottle back in the kit, of course. Again, you'd secure that in place and pump for 30 times to draw air through it, and you'd remove the ticket. If there's any colour on the ticket at this point, do not proceed, as this shows that mustard agent is present. So obviously if there's enough mustard agent, if it's there in a high enough concentration, H1 will show a result anyway, without the addition of H2. If you don't get an immediate reaction just from pumping the air through H1, you would then proceed with the test, and you'd need to keep the ticket warm again for 2 minutes, and then add a drop up from bottle H2, and then again replace the bottle in the kit. And if the ticket remains white, mustard agent is absent. If the centre of the ticket turns mauve, mustard agent is present. Any other colour means that another agent is present. So quite interesting there, you're not just testing for mustard, you can't tell what the other agent is, but it will still react if you do have another chemical agent there. And you see, again, an illustration of what you're looking for on the ticket is provided on the right hand side of the instructions there. On the back of this, there is a maintenance, a little bit on regular maintenance here, which again you can pause and read this should you wish to. You can see what the capsules would have looked like inside the bottles there, as you can see. And then of course we do have the addendum here for use in freezing conditions, which you can read as well should you wish to. You can pause and read that. So that's the instructions there, and basically runs through how to use this little set of chemicals and the testing tickets there. Really quite a neat little set, and as I say, this allows for testing of the air, basically of residual vapour in the air, where you may well not pick up the agents on detector paper and so forth, but there's still enough in the air to cause harm. So this is basically a test to show whether or not it's safe to remove protection such as respirators and so forth. So quite a neat little kit, and one that I find particularly interesting.
and one that I find particularly... So quite a neat little kit. I'm very happy to have an example. I'm very happy to have an example of one of these in the collection. They were quite common on the surplus market a little while ago, but they're less common now, so I'm very glad I picked up one when I did. I would also like to pick up one of the larger testing kits that were available as well. Don't yet have an example of one of those, but I plan to try and find one going forward, and obviously when I do find one, it will no doubt show up on the channel. But that's a look at the Residual Vapour testing kit.
So I do hope you found it interesting looking at this. We've been looking at quite a few little bits and pieces of NBC kit on the channel recently, just simply because I've been tidying up that part of the collection and have picked out a few bits and pieces to talk about. So hopefully it has been of interest. If you found it interesting and you'd like to see more from the channel, please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below. That will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as ever, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those two methods. It really is greatly appreciated, as I always say. Thank you all very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address down there as well. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.